The July issue of Cognitive Science has a really fascinating study about the effect of religion on a child's brain. Now, what researchers wanted to see is whether or not children are able to differentiate between fact or fiction if they are believers in religion or if their parents basically exposed them to religion as they were growing up. So let me tell you how the researchers did this survey, or this study I should say. The researchers took a look at 66 children between the ages of 5 and 6, obviously very young, and asked them questions about stories, some of which were drawn from fairy tales, others from the Old Testament, in order to determine whether the children believed the characters in them were real or fiction. So here's what they found. Through the research, they realized that religious teaching, especially exposure to miracle stories, leads children to a more generic receptivity toward the impossible. That is, a more wide-ranging acceptance that the impossible can happen in defiance of ordinary causal relations.
So I love this story. In hindsight, it's actually so obvious, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you teach people to believe fanciful stories about miracles and things that happen outside of nature, people walking on water, virgin births, people splitting the sea, they'll believe fanciful stories that seem like they're not real, right? So are they more likely to believe in a Santa Claus? Of course they are. Are they more likely to believe in Thor? Of course they are. Thor is a mythology, and you could argue that the stories in our quote-unquote main religions, Christianity, Quran, Islam, Judaism, well, they're also mythology. You know, you might be mythology that you agree with, and you might find it offensive that I call it mythology, but you have to agree that the stories are outside of the bounds of what you would normally see in nature, right? That's the whole point. They're quote-unquote miracles. So if you teach a kid from an early age that that's real, that happens, of course he's going to believe that things that don't make sense are also real.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised that they took the time to do this type of study because it makes all the sense in the world. Like, you're not dealing with adults here. You're not dealing with people in their 20s or their 30s. You're dealing with children, 5-year-olds and 6-year-olds. So, of course, they're extremely impressionable. And if they've grown up with the notion that certain things are real, even though they defy logic or actual reality, then of course they're going to believe these things. There's no question about it. And I think it goes beyond religion. Let's say, parents totally drill into their kid's head, hey, the tooth fairy does exist. As soon as you lose a tooth, you're going to all of a sudden wake up and there's going to be money under your pillow. Or, yeah, there's this big jolly man who chills with his reindeers and he delivers toys to all the good kids. Like, they're going to believe that stuff, right? Because their parents, the people that they trust the most, are telling them that magical things happen and miracles happen, when of course we know that that's not true.
Right. So they did have to do the study, though, because I bet you if you told religious people, your kids are more likely to believe crazy stuff, they'd be like, that is offensive and ridiculous. Of course not. No, they're very logical. No. You literally made your children less rational. Congratulations.